Hello and good evening, everybody. My name is Miss Kalila Bruswell. This is My Life is a Testimony. For our 10-year anniversary, we are doing something special. So I definitely just want to say thank you very much for joining us. Mr. J, when you go on mute, just to let you know, we see your lovely logo. So you are also co-hosting with me this evening. What? And I just want to thank everybody for joining us this evening. This evening, we're talking about what's your mindset. We want to take a look at, it's a new decade. We're in 2020. We are in 2020. Did you think you would make it this far? I know I didn't. Not only are we in 2020, but now we're in a place where we have to talk about our goals and our dreams. I know every year at the beginning of the year, we have this thing where we want to make our New Year's resolutions, but the truth of the matter is that, it's February and a lot of people have already decided not to go through with them. By the time January 2nd came around, they're like, forget it, right? And we're not here about resolutions. We're actually here to have a conversation about mindset because it's your mindset that focuses on what your resolutions are going to look like, how you're going to obtain your goals, how you're going to achieve your dreams, all the different things that you want to go through. And one of the things, we're going to talk about a couple of different things today. We're going to talk about vision board. Do you have a vision board? What is your vision board? What is your why? What is your why in terms of why you think the way that you do, why you try to move the way that you do, why you trying to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish? And we're going to take a look at goals, a lot of the things that we're talking about when it comes to life, there are family goals that you may want to accomplish, social goals, career goals, financial goals, spiritual goals, physical goals, and intellectual goals. We want to have a real good conversation about that. So right now, I am so excited. I get to invite my friend, colleague, entrepreneur, folk, Mr. Jebre on the phone right now. So I just want to say thank you so much for coming online with us this evening. How are you today?
You're very welcome. Thank you for thinking of
I'm
me
so
and
glad that
inviting
you're
me.
here. So just to let you guys know, where are you residing in this part of North America, sir?
I am actually right outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. Okay. So he's made it kind of aware to me because if you guys can hear, it's a little scratchy by him. Apparently, you guys are dealing with a storm this evening, but he managed to make sure that he kept his schedule open and that he is here to join us. So we want to make sure that we get the best information from you and we have a really good conversation. Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. Let's start it.
So, one of the reasons why I definitely wanted to invite you to this particular show when we're talking about mindset is because I've been following you on Instagram. And I watch a couple of different things when it comes to you. So one thing is I know that you're an entrepreneur. Number two, tell me if I'm saying this right or if there's a proper wording for it. But you are a dog breeder. Is there a particular word for that, or it's just dog breeder? Just want to make sure.
Would you say a dog breeder?
You're a dog breeder, yeah.
Yes. I do that as well.
And the other thing that that I know it sounds really crazy, but you're boxing. I always see you posting about you boxing, and I always found that a boxer's mindset, like when you see something like that, there's a lot of dedication, there's a lot of persistence, there is a lot of consistency. There's a certain mindset that you have in order for you to be able to accomplish that kind of lifestyle or to participate in that type of sport, because for me, if you go to the gym you can decide not to go, you know but when it comes to, like, when I see you boxing, you're consistent with that. And I wanted to start off there, like, when it comes to your entrepreneurship, when it comes to you doing business as a dog breeder and being successful in it, in you doing your boxing, how did you get focused to that place? What made you decide that that was the focus that you wanted to go to? How do you make sure that you stay consistent in those things and you become successful in those things? So I definitely want to ask you there. Let's start there.
All right. So what I would say first and foremost, you have to find something that you love to do. So that will be the sense of everything that you just asked, if I was just to answer all of those collectively, just finding something that you love to do. As far as like, go ahead, go ahead.
There you go. Say it again.
Could you hear me?
No, every time you talk, you chip in and out. Oh, let's see how we're doing right now. How are you doing?
All right.
Okay.
Let me see. We might have to try another way of my audio if you can't hear me too good.
No, we can't. Do you want to try and dial in and see if that works? Keep your computer on, because we definitely want to see your lovely face. He's cute, isn't he, guys? Yeah. Okay, girls. All right, girl. Not the last time I was like, hey.
Listen to you. Hold on 1 second.
We're having. Sorry, I'm making you blush. My bad. My bad. I get to joke with him like that. I get to sit beside him and have certain conversations, and we're checking it out. But while he's doing that and he's having the conversation about, or he's setting his audio up, I want to ask you guys, if you can, right now, you're more than welcome to add a comment or to start asking questions about when it comes to mindset. But we're going to take a look at different types of sayings, especially from people that we have admired over the years, or that have done great accomplishments in over the decades and things like that, like Abraham Lincoln. We've got Queen Latifah. We've got Michelle Obama. The late unfortunate Kobe Bryant. There's different sayings and mindsets that they had in order to achieve the place that they've gotten to. And we're going to take a look at some of those things.